someone that you probably all recognise from his appearances on television and radio. He's usually calling out people who are lying and misrepresenting research and who are opposed to LGBT rights. Max Krzyzanowski, noise organiser.
It's always a moment of enormous pride when I get to stand up with all of you on an occasion like this, because I get that sense of purpose, sense of shared purpose, and a shared understanding of what is happening in our country and how it needs to change. In my mind, what has happened in RTE is that a group of lawyers made an economic calculation that it would be cheaper to hand over 80,000 of our euros to a bunch of people than it would be to actually challenge what underlies the issue here. And that is that their statements, their activism, everything that they do is geared towards keeping all of us unequal. This cannot stand, and it will not stand. Reference has been made to the fact that homophobic bullying destroys lives, and homophobia in general destroys lives. We all know this. Most of us will have experienced some form of this, whether it's ostracism from friends or family, whether it is, as in the case of Buzz and another friend of mine most recently, just being beaten on the streets because of his sexuality. We all know how this feels. What isn't so obvious to everybody is that this also takes a toll on the rest of the community. This was brought into sharp focus for me by a study that was published in Canada recently that showed that the schools where anti-homophobic bullying programs were rolled out and where there were gay-straight alliances, the level of suicidality dropped for the straight students as well. It is not only the case that we and the young people like us suffer from homophobic bullying, straight students, cisgender students, they also suffer too, along with our trans, bi, lesbian and gay peers. So this raises all of our votes. This is a service to the wider society that we are active on this front. And no gang of lawyers in the public service broadcaster is going to gag us on the basis of an economic calculation. We own the word homophobia. It was created to empower us to name and shame those who would stand and point at us and say, different, not equal, not deserving of the same rights, and we will use this word at our discretion, not at the behest of a bunch of lawyers. Thank you very much. It may be apparent to you that I am quite angry about this, and I can sense that most of you are pretty angry about this as well. Anger is a good energy if banked and channeled carefully in the right direction. We've already seen over the last 2 weeks the victimhood card being played by those who would deny equality. Shame on them. Shame on them. They say things like the LGBT community has suffered discrimination, but, and there's always a but, I have gay friends, but. It is not acceptable for them to make an equivalence between nasty tweets on Twitter and people being beaten in the streets, trans kids being excluded, being battered, and being denied their rights in society. We must be very careful to channel our anger, not to feed into their false claims of victimhood. How we can do this is, instead of attacking the Iona Institute, instead of attacking the columnists who attack us, we will deny them the oxygen of our attention. We will focus our attention on the broadcasters, on the media outlets that give them a platform to vent their hate. Let us not direct our energies against the individuals, let us direct our energies against the system that supports them. I'm sure that amongst you all here are some of the vaunted 847 letter writers. Thank you to every single one of you who did this and continue that work. Every time somebody gets a platform on our national broadcaster or in a private media outlet, we would like you to write in to the media outlet and complain about the media outlet, not about the person. The views expressed on that media outlet are fair game, not the individual who does that. That way we can deny them not only the oxygen of our attention, but the role of victim, which they would seek to steal from us in order to cloak their bigotry in some form of respectability. No! This is not the end position on homophobia. We're reclaiming that word and we reserve the right to use it as we see fit. But we will be judicious in the use of this. The spectrum of homophobia covers everything from, as Caroline discussed, murders in Uganda, gangs of people being imprisoned in Nigeria, and the courthouse being pelted with stones during the proceedings because the mob outside wants them dead even before the travesty of justice has begun. That is at the extreme end of homophobia. At the other end of homophobia is that language, is that cover, that shade under which all of the more violent forms luxuriate. The language of traditional values, honest, sincere opinions. Well, I have honest, sincere opinions too. Thank you. And we will express those honest, sincere opinions, but we'll use it to attack opinions and not people. And we will use it to steer the media in this country, to give us the platform that we're entitled to, and to deny oxygen to those who would use those platforms against us. We're on a long journey, as started by pioneers like David Norris, who I'm honoured to share a platform with. And we will continue to march forward with that banner, and we will see this through to the end until every last legal discrimination that weighs against LGBT people in this country is removed and the playing field is levelled. And then everybody can grow up. And that is straight people as well as LGBT, cis as well as trans. Everybody can grow up without believing that there is something stigmatic about an identity. And I hope you'll all stay with us on this journey. Thank you.